Metro Boomin, Wonder Girl, Mike Dean. These helped produce some of the biggest tracks on Rodeo, like Antidote to 3500. Rodeo's dark trap sound is what made this album so unique, and I wanted to find out how. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some of the tricks that these producers use throughout this album. Most of the sounds that I'll be using are from my upcoming multi-kit. Starting with Metro Boomin. His production throughout this whole album has some dark, catchy melodies and counter melodies, just like in 3500. So as you can see by this video, he likes to use catchy bell patterns. Metro likes to use a lot of the harmonic minor scale to give it that darker tone. As you can see and hear in this video, he uses gross beat to make it darker, slower, and have that glitchy texture. So I put on this halftime and this portal delay, which gives it that glitchy, like gloomy sound. And when adding the rest of the effects, this is what it sounds like. Then what Metro likes to do to break it down a bit is add counter melodies, and when adding these effects it just gives it that dark trap sound that I was going for. Then just like in the second half of OK Alright, you can hear like a high ARP that has like a delayed texture. I use the sequence sound from my kit, and I've just raised the LFO rate on it so it's a little bit more faster and having that weird glitchy texture. Going into the second LFO, you can see the resonance is all the way up. I've used that to give it like a granularized effect, and when using the phaser in the effects, I just raised the LFO rate, and then I've just brought the feedback of the delay, so it's just making it very full. And again, as you can see by the automation, I've added another delay. So for Metro's part of the production, this is how it sounds. Moving on to Mike Dean's production. Throughout this album, we hear them thick, hard, gritty synth basses, just like in Nightcrawlers. And it's known Mike Dean likes to use a mini mode to make these heavy basses. I create this patch in the mini V, and I just added the glide up, which is a signature part of his sound. And then to just remove the harshness of the high end, I just brought the cutoff frequency down. And to really get that glide effect, you want the notes to be overlapping, just like here. And I notice a lot Mike Dean likes to put a Juno chorus on his basses. Next is the vital part of Rodeo's sound, the distorted lead. This sets the mood for like intros and bridges throughout this album. And I wanted to make a lead similar to the song Never Catch Me. So I used this Mike Dean glide from my kit and played it in just like Mike Dean would. And to get that really distorted lead sound that Mike Dean would, I put a decapitator on it with the rest of these effects. Then lastly, Mike Dean likes to use synth pads just to bring it all together, just like in the song Impossible. And all I used on this was this shaper box to give it that nice pulsing effect. So listening to Mike Dean's production, this is how it sounds. Moving me on to Wonder Girl. I wanted to create a beat switch just like the song 90210. So I knew I wanted to start with a piano, and I used these effects to give it that nice 70s washed out texture. Then I just added a simple bass. But just like 90210, you can tell she chopped this sample up, so I wanted to use Fruity Slicer. So when I put this sample into the Fruity Slicer, I just brought the attack and the decay up, so it has that nice fade in and fade out effect. And as you can see, I've just changed the structure of the sample, just so it gives the whole thing a different listen. Then next I wanted to add them old drums, so I use this vintage drive from Addictive Keys. But just like in 90210, I wanted to layer them with trap drums as well. To give it the authentic 70s bounce, I placed some of the drum sounds off the grid. Then just like in the song Antidote, I used a distorted lead sound. To get that crunchy lead sound, I use this amplitude along with these effects. Then lastly I added this choir sound, and as you can see here there's 3 versions. One's just the normal version, one's the higher version, and then a lower version, just to make it sound more rich. So listening to Wonder Girl's production. Lastly is the beat switch. I did a small sub pattern, and I use this bubble art from my kit that sounds like this. And as you can see here, I used the automation for a delay, which was on the master channel, so it was effective on all the sounds. So I'm going to just let this play out, and hopefully you enjoyed it.